What is going on, everybody? So, welcome back to the channel. First and foremost, sounds like Man United could be looking for a wingback sometime in the near future, right? Following our 1-0 defeat to a very defensive Everton side, Ruben Amorim kind of lamented his lack of creative outlets on the left flank that really we needed to break down Everton's defensive line. After the match, he said, in the last game, we should have had an Ahmad with the right foot to put on the other side to play against 10 men. It is these characteristics that in time we will try to get to be a better team if we are the perfect setup to play in this way. Not yet, but like any team, we need time to put the characteristics into every position. So clearly, we need someone like Ahmad on that right-hand side. Patrick Dorgu was brought in last winter, right? Yeah, last January, like the last weekend in January, right? But he's more of a physical, energetic fullback, right? One who's going to get up and down the pitch, drive that ball up the pitch, track back, really using his speed and his power to track back and help out. He's not really known for his intricate, chance creation, any sort of technical play like that. And that's not a diss, it's just different profiles. Diogo Dallo, I'd argue, is very similar. Very good at getting up and down the pitch, but his final ball, his chance creation, not quite consistent enough for what we need. Again, we have players who can get that ball up the pitch, but we just don't have players who can seem, at least on the left-hand side, we don't have players who can just seem to get that final link in the chain when it comes to that attacking phase of attack. Our chance creation is just a bit lopsided. A lot of it is on the right-hand side with Mbeumo and with Ahmad in particular. In an effort to maybe correct this, United have been linked recently to Antoine Semenyo at Bournemouth. He would demand a hefty fee, and he reportedly wants to go to a club where he'll get a starting role. Would he get that at United as a wingback? We're gonna look and see if that makes sense, but I still have doubts over that and there's just in general too. There's also questions about Semenyo's quality and his consistency over time, especially that end product. So that's what brings us to today. After literally scouting every league in Europe, including the second divisions of some of these leagues, I've looked at wingbacks, I've looked at wingers, I've looked at fullbacks, I've looked all over the place. Who's creating chances, who's scoring goals, who's driving the ball up the pitch. As far as attackers is concerned, who's actually putting in a defensive shift, who could fill in at a wingback role. We have fullbacks, we need someone who's a little bit more like that Ahmad, right? I like, a lot of the options out there, but I have one for you that I'd like to share today. Like Ahmad, and even like Semenyo, if you want to go that route, he's traditionally a winger, but his defensive numbers make me think that he can be that left-sided Ahmad player that Amorim is looking for, that we're crying out for. His GA is excellent. He's experienced, right? He's played in a couple different leagues. He's played against a lot of different opponents. He's done it on a Champions League level, and he's performed against Premier League side in Champions League as well. And I'm talking about Bodo Glimt's Jens Petter Hauge. I want to show you what I see in him. So this is United versus everybody. I'm your host, Sean. I'm going to show you what I think about Jens Petter Hauge, and we're going to see what you guys think. So stay with me. Like and subscribe, please. Check those memberships if you want to get more involved in the content. And check out the United versus Everybody store. There is a sale going on all this week for Cyber Monday. Let's dive right in, you guys. If you're not familiar with Jens Petter Hauge, here's a quick snapshot of what we're looking at here. Plays for Bodo Glimt. Left winger. He is 26. He just turned 26 about 2 months ago or so. He's 6 foot tall, so he's a good height. The kid is again, traditional winger. He's got pace. He's got chance creation. He's got goal threat. Creates chances, like I said. Good on the ball. Good carrying the ball up the pitch. Good beating defenders 1v1. He's got an excellent work rate on and off the ball. He puts in a tackle, and he's got that little bit of flair that I think we do like from wingers now and then, right? I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. He's a Bodo guy through and through, though. He was born there. He came through Bodo's academy, made his first team debut at 17, scoring a hat trick on that debut as well. He became Bodo's youngest ever goal scorer in 2016 as well, and it wasn't long before he was catching the eye of bigger clubs in Europe, particularly AC Milan, who became interested after Hauge played a role in both of Bodo's goals against them in a Europa League qualifier way back in like 2020, so like 6 years ago almost. This was also the same year that he was named Eliteserien Young Player of the Year as well. Hauge ended up signing a 5-year deal with AC Milan, but competition for starting spots at Milan is tough. It's kind of like going to Real Madrid or something. I'm not saying Milan are good as Real Madrid. I'm saying they have a lot of players there and it's a lot of competition. It's definitely a big step up. You've got guys like Rafael Leao, Ante Rebic, who are already there, already established, as probably ahead of him, really. And he's 20, 21 at the time. He just wants to play. He wants development. It was always going to be difficult. So didn't quite work out. He ended up going out on loan to a couple clubs as well, including Eintracht Frankfurt, Ghent, etc., before returning home to Bodo for the 23-24 season, where confidence restored and he picked up right where he left off. Like I said, he is a rapid, wide player who will thrive with space in front of him. But he's also got the ability in tight spaces and close quarters combat, if you will, to beat defenders in 1v1s and even dribble through or around 2 or 3 opposition players to get that ball into the box, drive it up the pitch to create opportunities. He's got solid finishing instinct as well, really good shot from him off his right foot, but he's also quite creative. And he thrives when he is given a little bit of that freedom, when he's on the ball and he's allowed to just, take control of the situation to show what he can do. There was a clash of systems at AC Milan and Frankfurt. It just didn't quite work out, didn't quite suit his abilities. I do think his directness, his ability to get the ball in the box, though, I do think that suits what Amorim is looking for at United. He is almost a mirror image of what Ahmad does on the right side, except, Hauge does it on the left side. Now, people will look at his crossing, and they might question his crossing. But when you look at his pass maps, when you look at the way he does play, he doesn't play a lot of traditional crosses. He's not the player who's going to get it to the byline and then cut it back. Again, same as Ahmad. Ahmad's going to cut in, drive it into the box, create a lot of chaos. This is what Hauge does as well. But when you look at his pass map, Hauge doesn't play a lot of traditional crosses. No, but what he does, plays a lot of whipped in balls behind, or he cuts in and plays a lot of these diagonal balls that cut through these half spaces to find attackers that are on the run in these channels. Exactly like we do at United under Amorim. He does play those vertical passes from the left side, or again, those progressive balls in the channel. I do think that would suit us a lot better. On the left wing, you can see Hauge lives on the left-hand side of the pitch. It's where he's just as comfortable in the channels and half spaces as he is hugging that touch line. Compare that to like Ruben Amorim's go-to left wing back at Sporting, Nuno Santos, and you'll see similarities, a lot of similarities. Hauge gets more touches in the central areas and in and around the box, but Santos was also more involved in his own half as well. But Santos already also played about 15 more matches that season. This is from the 23-24 season for Santos when Amorim was fully in the whole Sporting mode. So, but you can see, if you look at the heat map compared to Ahmad's heat map, it's almost a mirror image of Ahmad's from the right-hand side. It almost looks like a Rorschach test the way you look at it. It's insane. But I really like that. I think that's exactly what Ruben Amorim is looking for from someone from that left-hand side, not just someone who can power forward and whip it in, but someone who, when we are playing a tough side, when we are facing a little bit of a defensive block, when we do need a little bit more movement, creativity, beat a couple of the initial midfield press and stuff, I think Hauge offers that. Let's look at some numbers while we're at it, though, because that's why we're here, right? So right now, he's got 11 goals, 7 assists in all competitions, including 2 goals, 3 assists in the Champions League. He had 2 goals and a man of the match performance against Spurs recently as well. 12 goals, 10 assists in all comps last season, including 3 goals and 5 assists in European competition. So he's done it domestically and in Europe, which is where I tend to look when I look at foreign players. How do they do in Europe? How do they do against Premier League sides as well? He was featured in the Norwegian League's Team of the Season last season. 3rd top-rated player in the league, 4th key passes for 90, 3rd successful dribbles per 90 right now. And if you look at his percentiles, you can see why I like him as well. On and off the ball, when you compare him to other wingers in Europe's top leagues, he's head and shoulders above the rest. Shot creating actions, top 20%. Pass attempts, top 8%. The completion, the progressive numbers, again, very, very good. Carries, take-ons. Look at those take-ons. That's elite level take-ons. Top 95th percentile. He's better than 95% of all other wingers in the league. But then you drop down and look at the way he puts in his shift off the ball. Tackles for wingers. Again, almost top 20%. Interceptions, blocks, clearances. The guy is well above average in most things. I like what I see from this kid. If you want to if you want to go deeper into his percentile ranks, again, you can jump on FBref and do that as well. He's in the 99th percentile for passes into the penalty area, top 7 percentile for open play crosses that lead to a shot, top 14% for open play passes that lead to a goal as well, top 9% for carries into the final third, top 20% for carries into the penalty area. The guy lives to get that ball into the box. Again, we don't create a ton of chances from open play. When you've got someone who's top 14% for open play passes that lead to a goal and top 7% for open play passes that lead to a shot, that's something we're desperately crying out for. And then again, off the ball, he's top 10% right now for tackles in his own third and top 25% for tackles in the final third as well. So he's able to put in quite a shift, man. I'm all about that life. Let's compare these to Dorgu and Diallo and Semenyo, because these are the players that he would be competing with and another target that we've supposedly been linked with. Again, take it with a grain of salt. But so first up, Dorgu. How does Hauge compare to Patrick Dorgu? Hauge's in the red, Dorgu's in the blue. Now you can see that Dorgu is winning a little bit more of those aerial duels. I think he's going to have natural fullback is kind of where he naturally is going to lean as well. And his XG is going to be a little higher as well. But I think that when you look at the shot creating, pretty similar, but the progressive, the ball progression, the take-ons, the touches, how comfortable that Hauge is on the ball, I think you're going to see there's a stark difference between that. Hauge is more of a creator, and Dorgu is more of a physical. I'm going to get the ball high and then find somebody else to let them kind of finish the job. I think that, again, both profiles are necessary in a squad. I think both profiles can be necessary in different situations. But again, we're missing that Ahmad type creator on the left side. And compared to Dorgu, Hauge's got that in spades. What about Diallo? Look at him compared to Diogo Diallo. Again, Hauge's in the red, Diallo's on the right. Again, Diallo, he's going to win a little bit more of the physical battles, but again, he is a natural fullback. But when you look at the actual ball progression and the carries and the take-ons, that is where you're going to get more from Hauge. He's able to kind of complete that final link in the chain of getting that ball into the final third, getting the ball in the box, creating chances. And you can see even when it comes to combined tackles and interceptions, Hauge's actually got Diallo beat. Again, I don't think Diallo was tremendous defensively in 1v1s or on the ball in 1v1s. And I think that Hauge's got him beat there. I think Diallo's probably got the physicality aspect down, but I think that in these 1v1s, I think Hauge's just a little better. What about Semenyo? Another winger who's people want to say, could play on the left-hand side. I think that we can compare that as well. Again, very similar. Semenyo, big physical guy, is winning a lot of those aerial duels. But when it comes to shot creating actions, pass completion, and ball progression, take-ons and 1v1s, Hauge's got Semenyo beat as well. Again, these are comparisons across the top leagues in Europe. So, Semenyo is involved in this comparison as well. I think that when it comes to what Amorim is looking for from that left wingback, that attack-minded, that creative outlet left wingback in the final third, I think Hauge's definitely got that tick those boxes. He's also, again, shown his capabilities on the European stage as well. I already gave you some of those hard numbers in the Champions League and in Europa League. But again, just looking at his performances and his impact, you'll see what I see, hopefully. Against Juventus recently, he came on as a late sub, 13 minutes left in the match. And he was even a doubt to play in that match because he had the flu. He was still recovering. But in those 13 minutes, he completed all of his passes. He created one chance. He got 2 touches in the box. Again, the guy just lives to create chances, getting the ball in the box. Against Monaco, completed the most dribbles in that match. 3 out of 4 long balls. Created the most chances in that match. So I created 5 chances. Against Galatasaray, again, most dribbles in the match. 2 out of 2 long balls as well. So again, get that ball forward. And Spurs. Man of the match against Spurs with a brace. Most chances created in that one, too. He created another 5 chances. 3 out of 4 dribbles completed. 5 of 6 long balls. Again, absolutely cooked Porro his way. He rinsed Pedro Porro. He had him on toast that match. He was destroying them. Really good audition. And he's repeatedly clocked as the fastest player on the pitch if you look back at some of those matches. The guy is absolutely rapid. But it's not just like a Rashford or like a Diallo, where with the space in front of him, that's fine. But even if a team plays a low block, Hauge actually is able to slow down, beat players 1v1. He's got such good close control. A little drop of the shoulder here, a little feint there, and he's beaten 2 or 3 defenders and the ball's in the box. And that, to me, is a big difference. That's something a lot of our attackers and wingers have been lacking, especially Marcus Rashford. You slow things down, you come up against a low block, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Same with Dorgu against Everton. It seems like a wasted chance. Now, Bodo Glimt's league is done for the winter. They are still in Champions League, though. So getting Hauge to United, we can't offer European football, is a big ask. However, Bodo Glimt are also way down at the bottom of the Champions League league phase table. So I don't think they have any wins in the Champions League. Hauge's been playing really well, but they don't have any wins, unfortunately. Could be a chance that they could get knocked out. They're 5 matches in, a couple matches to go. I think that there's an opportunity without any football. He could be someone to help us out, especially during AFCON. He's not without his admirers in the Premier League too. Thomas Frank famously tried to sign him at Brentford after the Spurs match. He repeated, "Yeah, I like this kid." Wouldn't be surprised to see Spurs maybe go for him to Thomas Frank. Currently, I've read on Transfer Market, €5 million market value, but I think Frankfurt, because he was actually at Frankfurt, it was a sell to buy, and then they let him go back to Bodo Glimt. They have a 20% sell-on clause, so add a little bit of money to that. But even then, if you even want to double that to €10 million and then maybe put another 5 million on it for, the extra 15, maybe even 20 with add-ons or whatever, that is a snip compared to what you're going to have to pay for someone like Antoine Semenyo. Now, some people will lean towards Semenyo because he's Premier League proven. It's going to cost a lot of money. Spending 15 million on someone, or 10 to 15 million on someone like Hauge, and could also get you another midfielder or somebody in January as well. That could be the 60 million on Semenyo and nobody else, or 10, 15, 20 million tops on Hauge and maybe 30 million on like a João Gomez or something, or like a Hayden Hackney. Could be an absolute beast mode of a winter transfer window. Some might accuse Hauge of not being able to hang outside Norway. Again, some of those failed moves to like Ghent, Frankfurt, AC Milan, and there's a shout there. I get that. And it could be the case. It could end up proving the case. But he was very, very young when he left Bodo the first time. He was like 20 years old. Adjusting as a 20-year-old to a new culture is very difficult, especially when you don't have a whole lot of support from the club. And when you're young, it's rough. Let me tell you, we've almost missed out on Georgie Best because he got homesick. Didier Drogba criticized Chelsea for nobody helping him get adjusted. A lot of players struggle with it. Could be the case, but you don't know. And I do think that like 10, 15, 20 million tops, like tops, I think that's worth it. But hey, it's still a factor. I get it. He has lacked a little consistency, but he goes on these really good spells, and then I think rotation or whatever, he kind of goes off the boil a little bit. He manages to take Rafael Leao's spot for a month or two, but then his form dipped. This is part of football. You rotate, you play the players in their in form, let them rest a little bit. But again, that was back when he was like 20 years old. So remember what I say about youngsters. Lack of consistency is the one thing you're going to be getting from youngsters. That's the only consistent thing, right? But I think if Ruben Amorim wants an Amad Diallo type player from the left-hand side who can cut in, do what Amad does, I think Jens Petter Hauge could be an ideal under the radar option. He's doing it in Europe. He's did it against Premier League opposition. His goals and assist numbers are excellent. Again, you looked at those percentiles, how they compare to Europe, how they compare to who we have and who we've been linked with. You guys let me know. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. I think that he could be a really good option personally. He could free up some funds to make sure we can maybe strengthen in other areas in January. But you guys be the judge. You let me know what you think. Are you all for it? Or you still have questions? I want to know. Let me know what you think. Thank you for stopping by, though. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are. Well, remember, it is 20% off all week for Cyber Week sale in the United vs. Everybody store. You got the new Eric Cantona shirt in there. You've got the Class of 92 shirt in there. You've got all sorts of stuff in there. Go check it out. Could be the last chance to make sure you get your stuff in time for Christmas, on sale anyway. But go check it out, 20% off. And the conversation doesn't have to end when the stream ends. Members, starting 11 Legends members, have access to the WhatsApp group. I will go ahead and post a fresh link to that in the community tab. So make sure you check that. But keep the conversation going whenever you want to. But until next time, you guys, see you tomorrow for the kickabout. Don't forget, we're doing that Wednesday, every Wednesday. Legends members do have the option to join in on that if you want to. But we will be previewing the West Ham match that's Thursday. So keep a lookout for that one. Hope to see you guys all there, get your predictions and your thoughts on that. But until then, you guys take it easy. Let me know your thoughts on Jens Peter Hauge, and I will see you guys on the next one. Later.